Ndewo. Hello. Keduki Mere. How are you doing? Mbedeyama. Good afternoon. Hopefully everybody's doing well and try to, as much as possible, do one Igbo video per week. As you know, if you've been following me, this is my ancestral tongue and I'm learning it. And so I'm definitely a wa-akwokwa, which means a student of the language. And so if you hear something, if you're a native speaking Igbo person, then I encourage you to correct me as we go along. I'm not a prideful person by any form or fashion, just teaching myself with the tutorage of many friends over in Nigeria, of course, again, being my ancestral tribe. And we are incorporating and bringing back and reviving the Igbo language, traditions, and cultures within my own family. And so, starting a new topic tonight being arts and entertainment. And so, we'll do just 10 words, as we typically do, and make it short and sweet from there. So, of course, again, because you can't see me on the screen, I'm the one in the glasses in the picture. Again, that was my first trip to Nigeria in 2018 with preaching students from the Nigerian Christian Institute in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Again, we all keep in touch with each other. And of course, I'm always praying for these guys and wishing them Godspeed for their personal life as well as their ministries. All right, so the first word, if you want to call it that, actually is 3 words, would be for how to say arts and entertainment in the Igbo language of Southeast Nigeria. It would be En-Kah nah Ntụrụndụ. And of course, again, if you've been following me, you know there's some special characters that are in the Igbo alphabet that are not in English. And of course, you see the ones that stick out, which are the ones that look like U's with a dot underneath. We call those diacritics. And that gives it a different accent. In other words, a different way of pronouncing it. So you would call it an O. So it becomes an O. All right, so that's why you hear me saying En-Kah nah En-Toe-Rone-Doe, being arts and entertainment. And how that breaks down is En-Kah, which means arts, Na means and En-Toe-Rone-Doe means entertainment. So again, you said arts and entertainment literally. But again, the last time I'm going to pronounce it, and then we'll move on to the next one, will be En-Kah nah Ntụrụndụ, which is arts and entertainment. All right, action movies. My wife and I watch a lot of Nollywood, so you're going to find action movies, love, everything you can think of. In fact, one of the articles I read recently is that Nollywood produces the most movies in the entire world by volume. In other words, number of movies per year. Typically, Nollywood is number 1. So that's beyond Hollywood in the United States as well as Bollywood out of India. All right, so let's go ahead and look at these words, 2 words in order to say action movie. This one is actually kind of more simple because it literally translates into action movie in English. So the first word is mmem, nkiri. So again, you just said mmem, which means action, and nkiri, which means movies. So again, put it all together, it would be mmem nkiri, which is action movie. Again, the things that will kind of throw you off if you haven't studied the Igbo alphabet, the E's make an A sound and the I's make an E sound. And that's why you hear me saying it and it sounds like I'm having an accent when I pronounce them. So it's Em-Mame Nkiri, action movie. Again, one more time. Em-Mame Nkiri. Em-Mame Nkiri, action movie. All right. Actor. Now, typically, it looks like from my Igbo 101 book, it breaks it down between female and male, kind of like what we do. You know, you have an actress. So to say actor, it's just 2 words. Woke, and that means male, and Omee, which means actor. So you're just saying male actor, which means an actor. So again, to put it all together, you would say Woke Omee, which means actor. Again, that which probably looks a little strange to you in English if that's your first tongue like mine. That NW, you drop the N basically to make it sound right from an English speaking tongue. So it's Woke Omee, actor. Again, Woke Omee, actor. All right. Album is pretty easy. Again, you have the one special character, the O with the dot underneath, the O diacritic, and that gives it an all sound like auto. So it's Ah-Bau-Mue for album. Ah-Bau-Mue. Yeah, let me get it right. I said it incorrectly the first time. So it's Ah-Bau-Mue for album. Ah-Bau-Mue album. Okay. So again, Ah-Bau-Mue album. All right. Animation sounds a whole lot like English. And again, you have the special characters. The I diacritic gives it an E sound. The O, as you mentioned, diacritic gives it an all sound like auto. And the U diacritic character makes an O sound. Okay. Like okay. So it would be Anịmesho for animation. Anịmesho animation. Again, one more time. Anịmesho animation. Okay, to say an artist, like a painter or whatever genre of art you're talking about, just artists in general. Again, you have that special character that gives you an ah sound. So it's Au-Main-Kah. Au-Main-Kah for artist. Again, Au-Main-Kah artist. All right, to say audience, it's a little bit more involved. You're basically saying Indi, that N-D and the I diacritic, that's Indi. And basically, that's pretty much a key word that you'll find a lot. Indi just means a group of people. And then the verb that you would need would be na-ege, and you combine that with inti. That means listening. So what you're basically saying is the people listening, which means the audience. So to put it all together, you would say, excuse me, Indi na-ege inti, which is audience. And I'll say it slow. Indi na-ege inti, which means audience. So again, Indi na-ege inti, audience. So say it with me. That's the only way to train your mouth, as we say, like in athletics, for muscle memory, so it remembers how to say it. And that one trick that I do to myself when I'm trying to pronounce Igbo words, I tell my brain immediately it's going to sound different. In other words, I try to take myself out of an English speaking mind so that I can really try to embrace Igbo, because it is different than the rest. Because sometimes I want to pronounce things the English way just by nature, and I have to kind of, talk myself out of doing that. So audience again is Indi na-ege inti, audience. Again, Indi na-ege inti, audience. All right, just a few more and we'll be finished. We're going to talk about ballerina now. And so Aun-Yae is the first word. That first word, Aun-Yae, means you're talking about a person. And then after you use that word, you'd say what type of. It goes as follows. Aun-Yae Nah-Ah-Bah Bah-Lay-Tee. So you just said ballerina. And we'll break it down. Aun-Yae means person. Nah-Bah means doing something. And Baleti means ballet. So you just basically said the person that's doing ballet, which means in English, ballerina. Again, you got some special rules. That second word, na-agba. Notice I didn't pronounce it as na-agba. I said na-ba. And that's because, again, in Igbo, it's just like in English. Sometimes you have like what you call a contraction, where you eliminate the pronunciation of certain letters. Like, again, I like to use the word all the time. Do not, to say it in English, you want to say don't. So it's the same thing. Igbos run things together just like we do in English, and then, eliminate some characters. So that's why I'm not saying na-agba. I'm saying na-ba, because you're taking out one of the A's in that word. All right, so again, let's put it all together. Is Aun-Yae Nah-Ah-Bah Bah-Lay-Tee. So again, Aun-Yae Nah-Ah-Bah Bah-Lay-Tee is ballerina. All right, last two. And this is the same word as we just used. It's just saying ballet in general. So it's baleti for ballet. Again, ballet is ballet. Again, we'll say it slow. Try it with me. Baleti for ballet. Our last one of the 10. And band is pretty much almost as if you were saying it the same way in English, except you adding the I diacritic, which gives that hard E sound. So it's bandị, bandị for band. So again, bandị for band. So remember the A's also in Igbo is like a ah sound. You know, one of the things that you can think about, especially us as being Black Americans, and we descend from, basically the major Nigerian tribes. We descend, that is, from Igbo, Yoruba, and Fula people from Nigeria very, very frequently. If you do DNA tests on your several branches of your family tree, you're going to pretty much at least find one of them. And of course, it's estimated, like some tribes, that I think it said 60% of all African Americans have Igbo blood, at least in part. And so obviously then it's probably part of your makeup too. Again, if you're a Black American that's listening to me right now, that's been in the United States for 200, 300 years, whatever the case may be, as far as your ancestry goes. So I say all that to say that we retain some of that in the way we pronounce things also as a group of people in America. For instance, ama, instead of saying, I am, a lot of times we say ama. Ama actually is the word in Igbo for I am. So there's a lot in our language that we actually have retained, and we just didn't know that we were still speaking some of the words from our ancestral language. Like if, for instance, when I know, we often shake our head, especially Black mothers, they'll say, mm-mm, mm-mm. Mm-mm actually means no in Igbo. And we just kind of kept that as Black Americans. So we kept a lot of our words. There's some words from Europe, Fula, and other tribes that we kept as well. We just have forgotten where they came from. So if you ever go to Nigeria, or you go to Jamaica, or any of the Caribbean islands, we all have our own type of, or our own dialect of English that we learned. The Gullah, Geechee Islands, all those areas have their own, because again, that was the mixture of many African tribes, and we had to figure out how to talk to each other. So we retained some of our words, we retained some of our accents, all those type of things that are even in Black English here today. But again, I didn't come here to give you a history lesson, but I just thought those were some interesting things. So again, band is bandị, bandị. So again, thank you for joining me. One of the Igbo words for thank you is imela. And definitely want to bid you a good night. That's called kachifo.